African Union Communications Early Warning and Intelligence, commonly known as AUC3I, is an intelligence and security organization responsible for providing signals intelligence and information assurance to AU citizens, AU leadership, and AU armed forces. I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. I am responsible for leading infantry soldiers at all levels of command and combined armed forces during missions on the ground. This is today's briefing. On the progress of the special military operation as of March 10, 2026, the armed forces of the Russian Federation continue the special military operation. Units of the North Group of Forces inflicted losses on the manpower and hardware of a mechanized brigade and an air assault brigade close to Miropolia, Maximovshchina, Novaya Sek, and Yastrabinoye in the Sumy region. In Kharkov region, units of 3 mechanized brigades, a motorized infantry brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and a border detachment of the Ukrainian Border Service were hit near Verkhnyaya Pisarevka, Martovoye, and Buzovo in the Kharkov region. The Armed Forces of Ukraine losses amounted to up to 240 troops, 3 armored fighting vehicles, 11 motor vehicles, and 3 field artillery guns, 2 electronic warfare stations, 2 ammunition depots, and 7 materiel depots were neutralized. The West Group of Forces improved the tactical situation. The group's units inflicted losses on the manpower and hardware of 3 mechanized brigades, an assault brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and 2 territorial defense brigades near Alexandrovka, Polymarevka in the Kharkiv region, Krasny Liman, Svyatogorsk, and Lozovoya in the Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy losses amounted to more than 190 troops, 2 armored fighting vehicles, 10 motor vehicles, and 4 artillery guns. A US-made ANTPQ-50 counterfire station and 3 ammunition depots were neutralized. The South Group of Forces took more advantageous lines and positions. Russian troops hit formations of 3 mechanized brigades, an airmobile brigade, an assault brigade, and a mountain assault brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine near Slavyansk, Kramatorsk, Krivaya Luka, Piskunovka, and Konstantinovka in the Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy lost more than 145 troops, 2 Stryker armored personnel carriers, and 1 US-made MaxxPro armored fighting vehicle, 5 motor vehicles, and 4 field artillery guns, 1 ammunition depot, and 6 materiel depots were neutralized. The Center Group of Forces improved the tactical situation. Russian troops inflicted losses on the manpower and hardware of 4 mechanized brigades, a Jaeger brigade, an airmobile brigade, an air assault brigade, an assault regiment of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, a Marine brigade, a territorial defense brigade, and 3 National Guard brigades near Novoalexandrovka, Grishino, Belitskoye, Zolotoy Koledes in the Donetsk People's Republic, and Novopavlovka in the Dnepropetrovsk region. The Armed Forces of Ukraine losses amounted to up to 325 troops, 3 armored fighting vehicles and 15 motor vehicles. 2 electronic warfare stations were destroyed. The East Group of Forces continued advancing to the depth of the enemy's defenses. The group's units inflicted losses on 2 mechanized brigades, 2 assault brigades, and 5 assault regiments of the Armed Forces of Ukraine near Komsomolskoye, Vozvyzhevka in the Zaporozhye region, Starokasyanovskoye, Dobropasovo, and Krivobokovo in the Dnepropetrovsk region. The enemy lost more than 300 troops, 2 armored fighting vehicles, 2 motor vehicles, and 1 US-made 155mm M777 howitzer. The Dnieper Group's units inflicted losses on the manpower and hardware of a mechanized brigade and a mountain assault brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine close to Orakov, Grigorovka, and Kamyshevka in the Zaporozhye region. Up to 65 troops, 1 artillery gun, 9 motor vehicles, 5 electronic warfare stations, 1 ammunition depot, and 1 materiel depot of the Armed Forces of Ukraine were neutralized. Operational tactical aviation, attack drones, missile troops, and artillery of the Russian groups of forces inflicted damage on energy and transport infrastructure facilities used in the interests of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, preparation, storage, and launch areas of long-range attack, unmanned aerial vehicles, as well as temporary deployment areas of Ukrainian armed formations and foreign mercenaries in 144 areas. The Russian aerospace forces shot down a Su-27 aircraft of the Ukrainian Air Force. Air defense systems shot down 8 guided aerial bombs, 3 US-made HIMARS MLRS projectiles, and 241 fixed-wing unmanned aerial vehicles.
In total, since the beginning of the special military operation, the enemy has lost 671 aircraft, 284 helicopters, 121,335 unmanned aerial vehicles, 651 anti-aircraft missile systems, 28,143 tanks and other armored fighting vehicles, 1,685 MLRS combat vehicles, 33,760 field artillery guns and mortars, 56,352 units of support military vehicles.
Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it useful and informative. If you have any questions, please leave them below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.